Hey guys, and welcome to Childhood Trauma Tuesday. Why is it on a Tuesday? Because Tuesdays are terrible, and so is childhood trauma. So, um, yeah. So, this is the first episode of this series I'm going to be doing. I have a lot of childhood trauma, but this one seems like a good starting point. It's one of those things where it doesn't scare me anymore. Well, it does, but in a different way. So today we're going to be talking about the early 2000s kids show Oobi, which aired, from 2000 to 2005, I believe. And it was on Noggin slash Nick Jr., and I loved it. So, um, Oobi was basically a hand puppet show, but instead of like with sock puppets, it was just straight up hands with eyeballs. Yeah. Um, I really liked the show. I watched it all the time. It was very strange, not really sure like who the target age range was, because none of the characters could speak in fluent sentences. So like I'm assuming it was like for people who were like just starting to talk, but at the same time, like they're not like speaking English correctly. Um, but yeah, it had like an interesting cast of characters. There was, Ubi, the main kid, his little sister Uma, their grandfather, who was named Grandpoo, Ubi's best friend Keiko, and then there were some recurring characters like Ubi's piano teacher, who Grandpoo was super into. I'm not kidding. There was even an episode where they set them up on a date. That was that was a it was an interesting time, but I enjoyed it. But of course, there were some episodes that kind of freaked me out when I was a toddler, and we're gonna get into that. So, probably the one that I was least disturbed by because of the ending. The ending made everything in that episode okay. It was called Uma Dreams. And basically, the premise is Uma, Ubi's little sister, she keeps having this recurring nightmare where she's in like a dark place and there's like the creepy tree made of hands because everything's made out of hands. And there's like this like giant monster that's like coming after her, and it's all dark, so she can't really see what's going on. So yeah, that terrified me. But then, um, basically how the episode ends is like they tell her to like try and like think of happy things when she goes to sleep. So when she's in the dream and the dream's happening, she turns on a light, and then it's like the tree is all happy and it's dancing, and it's still kind of weird. But, she likes it, and the monster is actually a chicken. And the chicken's, being a chicken. So, that episode, it was scary on the first watch, but after that I was okay with it because I knew it was just a chicken. I love chickens. So, this one, it always caught me off guard. And, like, it wasn't like, it's hard to describe, but basically this episode is called Ubi's Car. And in the episode, Ubi has a toy car that he really, really likes, and he leaves the room and he lets Uma play with it. And while he's gone, Uma breaks the car and she's trying to fix it. And then Ubi comes back and he sees that the car is broken and he goes off on her. Like he is like yelling and screaming, and like every time that episode came on, I'd like try and turn the volume down whenever Ubi starts screaming, but no matter how low I turned the volume, like he was still like making my ears bleed, like because I was not used to hearing this lovable little character just screaming, and he sounded so infuriated, and it was really off-putting. Like I just didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know how to react to it. I mean, obviously the point of the episode is like showing you like what to do when you're upset or frustrated, and that like it's normal and everybody feels that way, which is true. But he went off on her, like, and the final episode still scares me. It's called New Friend. So, Ubi's at the park, and he makes a new friend. Now, before, when I said all the characters are hands with eyeballs, I was lying. Most of the characters are hands. Oobi's new friend is a foot. A gross, veiny foot with eyes. I don't know what to say. I guess like the point of the episode was supposed to be like accept each other's differences and that we can all like get along and be friends even though we don't all look the same. But it's a foot. Why? Like they even like kind of had this message because there was like one like the hands are usually on top of the fingers and there was this one character whose hands were like below his fingers. Like they could have just used him for the episode, but they used a foot. I I I don't know. That's it's cockatiel in the background. Um, but yeah, I mean this was the early 2000s, so you know Dan Schneider was still kicking around. I don't think he had any involvement with the show, but if he did, I know what episodes he worked on. But so that was today's Childhood Trauma Tuesday. I'm not sure what I'll be talking about next, but when I do, it'll be interesting. That's all for now. Bye.